Shalom to all, and welcome to our continuing International March of a Living. When you listen to a witness, you become a witness, Survivor Speaker Series, featuring today's intimate talk with Holocaust survivor Mania Hudy. We're joined today by participants from all over the globe, including North, Central, and South America, Europe, South Africa, Israel, Australia, and many other places. Welcome. We are so pleased to be able to offer today's webinar in a bilingual format to accommodate our global audience. In order to access Spanish translation from our interpreter, Carolina, please click the button at the bottom of your screen that says Interpretation and select Spanish. If you have any questions about how to operate this, you can also always send a message in the chat to our MOTL tech. The global nature of today's webinar highlights the true beauty that is the International March of a Living. Since its inception in 1988, the International March of a Living has brought over 275,000 students and adults, both Jewish and non-Jewish, from over 40 countries around the globe to Poland and Israel on Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day, and Yom Ha'atzmaut, Israel Independence Day. The International March of a Living serves as a call to action to our thousands of alumni for them to do their part to ensure a future free of anti-Semitism, racism, bigotry, and intolerance in all its forms. While we all continue to navigate the new normal that we find ourselves in, the March of a Living is dedicated to continuing its mission of educating about the past in order to ensure a better future. Mania will be interviewed today by Dalia Mizrachi of Panama. Dalia grew up in La Paz, Bolivia, herself the granddaughter of 4 Holocaust survivors, and moved to Panama 18 years ago. She has been a Holocaust educator for over 10 years and is an active member of Fundacion EMET, an organization dedicated to educating, remembering, and honoring the legacy of the Holocaust. She has led the March of a Living as the leader of the Panamanian delegation 3 times, 2 of which included a trip with our speaker, Mania Hudy. Feel free to ask any questions you have for Mania in the Q&A box throughout the course of the interview, and we'll do our best to get to as many as we can in the time allotted. Now I'd like you to turn your attention to a short video that will introduce you to the wonderful and inspirational Mania Hudy.
Mania Hudy, a person who has touched the lives of everyone she has met, a person whose tormented past, ironically and not as a coincidence, made her become the person she is today. Mania's granddaughters call her Buba, but it did not take long at all for all of us who know Mania to start calling her Buba as well. Her warmth, charisma, humor, and amazing attitude towards life gave her that name. Born on the brink of the darkest hour in Poland's history on November 11, 1933, Mania came to this world destined to survive, destined to change lives, destined to love and to be loved. At only 6 years old, she left her home, her belongings, her park, her school, her innocence, her everything. She and her family were forced to live in the Warsaw Ghetto, as so many others. But Mania was not like any other. Her courage and willingness to live allowed Mania to become a little hero by smuggling food into the ghetto with her little hands and her little body. Mania survived the war by fighting in every way possible to survive, teaching us the greatest lessons of all, faith, love, and courage.
Tengo 8 bisnietos y 6 nietos. Así que Hitler no podía matar una mujer que me dejó vivir. Tengo una generación y generación crece. Así que él no logró para matar la generación.
It is a great honor for me to be chosen by March of the Living to be one who interviews Mania Hudy on today's special event. Mania, I had the privilege in getting to know you personally and to march with you in Poland in the year 2015 and 2018, together with our Panama youth and adult delegation. I had the experience to walk with you hand in hand through the streets of Warsaw, where you showed me your neighborhood, your beautiful park, and even what was once the Warsaw Ghetto. Walking with you around Warsaw was like walking with a movie star, People from all delegations came to say hello to you with such love and warmth, showing the impact you make to all those who know you, especially from Canada, your hometown for more than 50 years. You bring happiness, joy, love, and inspire everyone who crosses your path. And you give us hope for a better future. Thank you. I am so pleased that so many people joined such a special event today. After listening to Mania's story and life lessons, you too become witnesses of our past and have the responsibility to tell this story to others so that no one ever forgets, and so we can stand tall and say out loud, never again. So without further ado, Mania, are you ready? Mania, you were just 6 years old in Warsaw when World War II began with Germany's invasion to Poland in 1939. Before we turn to all that happened to you and your family during the war and the Shoah, let's first start with you telling us a little bit about your family, yourself, and your community in those years before the war began.
Okay. I was born in Warsaw in 1933, November the 11th, and we used to live in a beautiful home, an apartment. We was very happy. My father used to have business, the business, her own business. My mother didn't work because we was okay.
Teach dance.
And my mother she used to take care of us. She used to take us to every afternoon, me and my brother, she took to the park and show us the park, they call Rajinsky's garden. And my mother and there is a big house, like a building, like for a royalty.
Castle.
It's a castle. And when she always used to say to us, you see, I said, Ma, who is living there? And she always told me, there is a queen and a king. They're living there. And I was, I thought it's true. And always I was remember, in every afternoon, she took us to the park. We came home. And then my mother was nervous. And then when I came home, I got a surprise for my father. He got me a piano. He bought a piano for my birthday. I was 5.5 years old. And they took a teacher to teach me the piano too. And I was so happy. My mother we used to be Shabbat dinner, always with friends and relatives. We used to have in the community. I didn't know about the Jewish community so much, but I know that my mother used to have Shabbat dinners and always Pesach, how you call it?
The Jewish holidays.
Jewish holidays, yeah. We used to be very, very happy. And all of a sudden, my mother was in the kitchen and she was so nervous and I didn't know why. And she started to cry and my father was nervous. He used to go back and forth and I saw neighbors coming and I didn't know what happened. Then they talk in Yiddish, in Jewish. When they talk in Jewish, then I heard something, going to start a ghetto. As the German came in and it's going to be a ghetto. And I didn't know.
Mania, before you tell us a little bit about the ghetto, I remember a story you told me about your piano, because I think that was before. Tell us about the incident with your piano.
Yeah, but that's what I'm coming there. Before we went into the ghetto, then the German police came in to the apartment, and we was standing. We didn't know what to do. My mother, my father, and they said to us, takes everybody a luggage because you're going to go to the ghetto. And they look around. They said they took some things, but they, my mother's things from crystals, candelabras, everything. And then when I was standing, then they used to go to the piano. When they get to the piano, and I said they start to take it away, the piano. Two people came, they helped this policeman to take the piano. And I started to cry. I went on the piano, I was running, and I hold it. They shouldn't take it. Then somebody came and gave me a hug in my head. I was bleeding, but my mother went quickly to me. She hugged me. She said, Mania, don't worry. I will buy you a new piano. But they took the piano away. I was crying, screaming, but she held me in her arm. And she said to me, Mania, calm down. You will have a new piano. Then they told us everybody should dress, and they take something luggage, something like that. My mother took a few things, and we went to the ghetto. When we came to the ghetto, met another family, and a couple, they haven't got children. The other one had 2 children, like my mother. Then it was a room, one room, and another room, something, a little one, and we was fit together. And when we was in the ghetto, it start the war. We was, we see the ghetto, a lot of people. They used to go downstairs, running around. They used to handle, with things like what they used to have. I don't know, the Polish people come to buy things from the Jewish people.
Tell us about a little bit about your mom, about her personality, her role as a mom, and also as a Jew during the time when you were in the Warsaw Ghetto. Tell us a little bit about
my mother. She was a very brave woman. What she was thinking, she did it. And she was a good woman, but strong. She has a character, a strong character, and she used to do, and she was thinking what to do tomorrow, what to do today, She was thinking about herself, what she's supposed to do. And she did it. And then by my mother, she was pregnant.
Your mom was pregnant, and tell us about your mom's pregnancy. And she delivered your sister Tonya, right, in 1940.
Yeah. My mother was pregnant.
What you remember?
Yeah, that's what I remember. She was pregnant, and I used to always be with my brother Sam, or they used to call him Salek in Polish. And when she got my sister Tonya, her name was Tonya. When she was born, my mother was thinking what she going to do with her, because that night she was crying, and she didn't know what she going to do. Then when she got my sister, she was thinking, because they will kill her. She wouldn't be alive when she wouldn't took something. Then she took, after she was born, maybe 8 days or 2 weeks, she take a banca, how you call it?
Suction cup.
A suction cup, and she put her in her bag. This I remember, and I was standing with my brother, looking. And I was crying, so why she make like a fire in her bag? And she made the mark, burned. And I was crying. I said, Mama, what you do? And then she took her on her arm and went downstairs, and she come up without my sister. When she came up, I said, where is the little baby? She said, Mania, don't be upset. I make the mark and I took her, I give her away, and somebody will save her to take her from the ghetto. And from this time, we haven't seen anymore. We didn't know where she went.
Mania, do you know, or do you think, or do you remember if people in the ghetto, like the Jews, were there united? Did they help your mom? Were there conflicts in the ghetto between Jewish people?
Yeah, I think somebody helped her. Somebody helped her to give away my sister. But who, I don't know. But she comes up without my sister.
In general, about the ghetto, would you say that there was conflict between the Jews in the ghetto, or was there harmony? Would you remember that?
Did the people fight in the ghetto?
No, they're fighting between them. And a lot, like dying, like a lot of kids died and everything, we can see something, from hunger, from this. And then I used to, and then I used to come, my mother used to, she was with us, but then she heard that I was very weak and I was sick. And then they took me to the hospital because I got typhus. It was a pandemic from typhus.
A hospital inside the ghetto?
Inside the ghetto, yeah. When she took me to the hospital, this I remember, then she was thinking what she's going to do with me. And she left my brother downstairs, I think with a cousin or with somebody. And she went there, I don't know, she got there, she came with a uniform from a nurse, with a red cross, and she took me in her
arms.
Not the arms, in
a bag? Like,
no, she hold me.
Carry me.
She was carrying me.
She was
because
carrying
I was very weak, and she carried me, and she said, goes away because das Kind had typhus. In German, for typhus, they used to be very scared. And like that, she went and she took me out from ghetto. And we went, and downstairs was waiting already my brother with his cousin. And they took me, I was very weak because I got fever and everything. And I didn't know what happened. And she said, Mania, I land down, Mania. She put me down on the floor a little bit. I should rest. And then she said, we're going now in a farm, but I have a friend there. And over there, we're going to walk slowly. And I said to her, Ma, I'm weak. I haven't got koyok. Then she took me again in her arm, in her back, like to carry me. That was 60 kilometers from Warsaw. Wow. They used to call it Zarembe Kościelne.
Zarembe Kościelne.
Kościelne, this was the farm. Anyways, we came to the farm, but my father wasn't already with us. They took him away. We didn't know where.
They took them away
from the ghetto. From the ghetto, they took him away. We don't know where he disappeared. Then when we went my mother laid me down and we resting, we walking and we resting, and we came to the farm. When we came to the farm, this was a friend of my mother. She was Polish. Then my mother took her. His name was Śwideńska. When she took Śwideńska, she said, listen, I leave the two children with you, and you the mother. You eat the mother for my children, because they haven't got children at all. And my mother disappeared. We didn't know where. And we staying with this Świderska, and she take care of us, but they come always check. The German come check about Jewish people, they don't hiding or something. They used to check. her husband, she was such a good woman. The husband wasn't so good. When they came a few times to check if the Jewish children was hiding or who, then he said, I'm tired already. The husband from the Świderska, I'm going to say that this is Jewish children. Then she told them, when you will say this is Jewish children, I'm Jewish too. Then he didn't say nothing.
Wow.
And then, and then
Mania, for how long were you hiding? Do you remember?
I mean, a year or more than a year.
Almost a year. And can you remember anything from where you were hiding? Like, I know it's in
and she told us like that. Don't talk nothing, don't say nothing, because the neighbors, I don't want they should know that you are here, because they want, when some neighbors wanted to be good for the German, they can talk that she's hiding Jewish children.
Yeah. And you lived under good conditions. They gave you to eat.
They gave us to eat. But they always came to check. But one day, my mother came to us. We saw her on the window. She make on the window like that because she was scared when she came in. They can capture, they can take her. And she talked already with the friend, and she said, "They okay?" Lola. My mother her name used to be Lola. But in Jewish, she used to be like Ghetto, But when she was there, she used to be Lola. And then she said that somebody is after her. Then she disappeared quickly. She went in the forest, not to, they shouldn't find us, the German.
Yeah.
And then we was living with them. She was very good, but he was not so good. But one day came German policeman was looking. She put us on the basement, but there a basement is like with animals, chickens. This not like here a basement. You have like furniture or something. Anyways, then a few times.
So there was a hiding. Inside your hiding place, you had another special...
and sometimes we used to be like a few hours downstairs. And that's why till today I haven't got air, because in the basement there wasn't a windows or something. It wasn't air.
And you were there for a long period.
Yeah, we were there, a few hours. Till she came for us and take us up and give us something to eat, to drink, Yeah, she was a very good woman.
And all this time, Mania, where did you think your mom was? Did you have any idea about your mother at this time?
What's the mean?
Where did you think Buba Lola estaba? No sabías.
No, I didn't know where she was.
You didn't know.
No. But I wanted to tell in the ghetto. I forgot. I wanted to tell you in the ghetto how I met a few children. It was a company, older. I was the youngster, and they said I was like movement good, and I speak Polish and this. Then they took me in the group, and they said, Mania, we go to the other side. It's a market from the ghetto through the Jewish cemetery. It was a hole, like a hole when you go into the street.
The sewer.
It's a sewer.
Sewer.
But it was close. But he used to take me, and I used to pick up
the manhole.
The manhole. I picked up, and after me, I think he was 13 years old, and I was a little girl, maybe, or 8. It's already, I was 8. And there was another girl, another boy in this. We went to the other side, and it was a market. We went through the hole, but when we went out, we took away the yellow star.
So when you were...
like I'm Polish, I'm not Jewish.
You took the yellow star so that no one knows you're Jewish.
Exactly, and I took it out. And then when we were the other side, in the market, I stole bread, I put it bread, something. What I see, I put it, and we was running. A few times like that with the children, we was running. The last time when I went, somebody grabbed me. And he looked me in the eyes, and he said, it's okay, go. You're not from them. Like I'm not Jewish. Because I was blonde and blue eyes. Then I said, go. And we was running. We was already, the older guy said to me, let's go, Mania, we're going. When we start to run, they shoot him.
Your friend.
And I want the boy, the older boy. When I want to come back, then he said to me, no, go, leć in Polish, run. He didn't want they should catch me too. Anyways, I went back and through the tunnel, and the other guys too. And we came there, we put on the yellow star, and we was at the ghetto again.
And your mom knew that what you were doing?
Yeah, my mother knew when I brought the bread and this, she knew, but she helped other people too, because she was very a strong woman. She has a strong character. And I think they catch her once in the ghetto, and they said to her too, but she was blonde. She was like dark a little bit, but she doesn't look. Then he said, then she spoke to him in Polish. What do you want from me? I'm against the Jew. You know, she wants to save her for herself. You know, she know how to talk, you know.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. And we was in the ghetto, and then we already knows how I went from the ghetto.
Yeah.
I went, yeah.
And yeah,
But,
we went back just so to that part of the story, and now we're going back to the part when you were in hiding, and you told us how you didn't know where your mom was.
No, I never knew. I never knew where she was, but she knows where we are. That's what she said.
And she came back a few times to
exactly, and she knows where we were. Yeah, but once she came, and she was this. I remember like today, and they was after her, and they was shooting, but she was running. But when they shoot her in the lake, but in the lake, not in the bone, you know, in the
thigh,
the bone thing, in and out. Then I don't know, she took something or something, a shirt or something, she built.
She made a tourniquet.
A tourniquet, yeah. And then, I don't know, and then she tell us that, I said, but, and she put yod. I don't know where she took the yod.
Iodine.
Iodine, it calls.
Iodine.
But we used to call it Yoda.
Yoda.
Anyways, and like that, you know, I don't know where she went from this, but she always know where we go, where they took the two kids, me and my brother. My brother was 2 years older for me, and I always used to take care of him.
For me.
Younger. I'm the oldest.
And so your mom, even though she was shot in the leg, she managed to go back to where you were hiding.
And she used to lamp, middle lamp lake. She used to, lamp, and then, this I remember, then lots of things I did. And then, okay, when we came, Venice, the German came to the Polish woman in their farm, but they took her because she was politisch. I didn't know, you know, she was like for Russia or something
was a political opponent.
Exactly, she and her husband. But she said that is my two kids. They came to take her, and the husband they took away. She didn't even know where, but she took us, and they put us in a train. When they put us in the, and she said, that's my children.
Wow. And your mom, this time, your mom is not with you?
No. I didn't see my mom till after when we liberated.
And what happened? Where did you go to this train?
When we go to the train, this I remember like now, and I don't know, there was a lot of Polish people there too, but she held us by the hand. We was lying down. It was hot. We haven't got but to drink, but to eat, you know, because they took her like Polish woman with two children. And then the train stopped, and we didn't know what happened, and we haven't got water. They used to give us water. Some people, you know, Polish people used to put some water. We should have a little bit to drink. And that this train supposed to go to Auschwitz, but they went around, they stopped, and they took us to Bergen-Belsen. This what I know, what I remember, how the name was Bergen-Belsen.
So
but
you
we came there.
went to Bergen-Belsen as a Polish prisoner.
Prisoner. No, not Jewish, no.
Incredible.
No, because that's what I was with her, with the Polish woman.
Tell us a little bit about your time in Bergen-Belsen, Mania.
Okay, in Bergen-Belsen, she was working in the kitchen, and she took always me. We used to peel potatoes, carrots. One day I saw the carrots. I wanted so much a piece of carrots, but I hide it. I hide the little carrots in my hand. Somebody saw me, and she came and she hugged me in my head, and and it was blood. They put me right away. They took me in, and it was because I took the little piece of carrots in the mouth because it was sweet. I never got sweet in my life, like till I was, and that's it. In Bergen-Belsen, then maybe a month later, they said we are liberated. The Brigada, the English.
Before the liberation, how old were you in Bergen-Belsen?
I was already 11 years old.
Okay. So you were, and how long were you in Bergen-Belsen? For how long?
Oh, that's what happened. When they said we are liberated, the English people come to us, they give us food and everything, and I said, that's my mother, of her, but they knew, and my mother knew where we are in Bergen-Belsen, and she came there, and she took us.
After liberation, when the camp was already a DP camp.
Yeah, and she came right away, she took us, and she took her too, the Polish woman, and she said, chodź z nami, come with us. And she was a little bit with us, and then she went to her Zaręby Kościelne, where she used to have the farm. And my mother used to take care of her. But when we was in Bergen-Belsen, it was already the English people, and we was free. I said to my brother, we are free, let's go. And then I met a lots of children too. And then they make in Bergen-Belsen a school, in Hebrew schools, and comes people from all over. They come from Poland, from Russia, from all over. And they used to call it DP camp, but we wasn't already prisoners. We was like free. They make a school there. They give us Shabbat dinner. More Helfgott used to be our Helfgott. He was on the Brigada, in the English Brigada, but he was Jewish. And then he used to be with us in Bergen-Belsen too. They used to be in school. In fact, my friend, Tusha Rogenstein, maybe you heard about her, she was liberated in Bergen-Belsen. I met her there. And then today she goes to March of the Living. She used to go. Yeah.
Do you remember anything, Osaf? What was for you be liberated? What did it mean to you?
For me, it was like, I'm free. For me, it was like free. They don't stand with the nagans, with the shooting. For me, I didn't need to hide it. I did, you know what I mean? And I just speak just Polish. Jewish, I learned later from in the school too, Hebrew. In Jewish, I learned later from my parents. Now I want to tell you how, when I was in Bergen-Belsen, then it was a sign who is alive, who stay alive. And my father was, they took him to Dresdenstadt. He was a prisoner in Dresdenstadt. He used to work in the Kolben group. How you call it? Naminas. Mine. Yeah.
So in the DP camp, your
cousin in the DP camp. Yeah, and in a mine, he was a DP camp. He was a strong man, and and they took him to, he came with a cousin. Matter of fact, the cousin was in Auschwitz. They give him a number. From Auschwitz, they bring him to
Dresdenstadt.
Dresdenstadt. My father wasn't in Auschwitz. They they took him to Dresdenstadt, but him they took later. They took him. You come. You going to work. The cousin. Matter of fact, he was with us the whole time, and they said you going to work, and we saved your children. He got 2 children with the wife. When he came back, they took them away to the chas camber.
Wow.
You know, they lied to them.
That's so unfortunate.
Yeah.
And so
And after the liberation,
after the war, both your mother and your father
yeah,
knew that you were in Bergen-Belsen.
Exactly. They came to find out because the joint put a sign who was the names, who was alive. And my father knew that we in Bergen-Belsen, and my mother always, she escaped from the wagon. I don't know what she did. I tell you the truth. She was like a soldier. She was so strong. She was till she died, you know, by 93, she was still strong.
And tell me a little bit about what happened after liberation with your sister, Mania. Tell us a little bit about
Now I will tell you. We was in Bergen-Belsen. It was already 4 years, you know, 4 years. It was, she was born in 43, my sister. But then my mother said, she got a baby, but she didn't know. She gave it away, but she didn't know. My father had a cousin in Belgium, in Brussels. And we was in touch from Bergen-Belsen to Bristol. It wasn't far. It's like a, you know, it's like a, with a car you could go like a distance to Belgium. Then he said, you know what, Lola? I heard that here in Brussels, 60 kilometers from Belgium, they brought Jewish children. They saved Jewish children. Oh, and my mother heard us. When my father came already, he was in Bergen-Belsen. Then she left him with my brother, and she took me to Belgium.
What year was this, Mania?
And this was in 46. No, 46.
Okay.
48, yeah, something like that. Because my brother was born. She got my mother, when she met
in Bergen-Belsen.
Exactly. He was born in the 1st of March, 1947. He was in the hospital together with Bimco. It was a Dr. Bimco. She was in Bergen-Belsen too. And she has born a son, Menachem Rosensaft. This I remember too. He was still, yeah. And then when she took me to Belgium, to the cousin, we was by the cousin in Brussels, and we, in this convent, was 30 of 60 kilometers from Belgium. We took a train. My mother took a bus or something. We came this convention.
A convent.
You know, just nuns. And we came there, and it was looking. They show us the children. My mother look around and everything. And then it was on an hour to go. The nun said, "No, you must go. Come tomorrow." We went a few times, you know, and they said nobody, we couldn't find nobody. But my mother, before we want to go out, and my mother was standing a little girl, blonde, blue eyes, not far from us. And my the nun said, "You must go. We're supposed to close the doors." She said, "No, just a moment." She went to this girl. She picked up the shirt, and was the mark.
So you went back and she remembered about the suction
Exactly.
that she
Because she
gave to her
burned. She
when
burned, and
just a little baby.
it was a mark.
Incredible. And
Yeah.
you were just about to leave.
We didn't know then but they didn't want to give us right away. We're supposed to write to the joint, to the committee, they should give us a permit to take you out, because they didn't want to give us. You can tell everything. But my mother said, I have the mark, and I know that this is my daughter Tonya. But the joint write a letter to them, and they intervened, and we came and pick her up and took her and bring it to Bergen-Belsen. But there was already liberation. It was everything free there. You know, they used to help us, everybody. Then we took Tonya to meet us. But every time when she used to come, she used to rezar.
Pray.
She used to pray like, you know, like the Polish people pray, like the, you know, the religious from the
Christian.
For the Christian. And my brother was mad. Sammy said, what is she doing? She's standing in her knee every night. She does, you know, Sammy, leave her alone. She don't know better. She was brought up like that.
Exactly.
And slowly she
learned her
exactly.
Jewish, customs. Mania, you were in Bergen-Belsen a long time, because
it was 4 years.
As a prisoner,
4
and
years.
Then as a DP.
Then it was 4 years in Bergen-Belsen. They used to make like everybody can go where they were, but registered America, Canada, all over. And I said, I was already 14 years old. Wow. And I said, no, I want to go to Israel. And mother said, why Israel? I want to go to Israel. I don't want to know nothing. I want in a Jewish country. And okay, my mother didn't want, you know, I should go by myself, because I said to my brother, you know what, when mommy didn't want to go, let's go. But in the meantime, my mother was pregnant with my brother in 47. And we went to Israel in 1949.
So he was incredible. He was born in the DP camp in Bergen-Belsen.
In Bergen-Belsen, yeah.
And tell me
that was her father.
A little bit to the person, the Polish woman that saved you. Remind us her name.
Swiderska. We used to call her Swiderska.
Was she ever nominated to be a righteous among the men?
I think so. I don't know. My mother used to go with her to there. She said she saved my children. I think yes. I think in Israel. I don't know. I don't remember this. But my mother used to help her very much, because we used to have after my father in Bergen-Belsen. My father used to work in the committee, but the people, American people, send us food in clothes. We used to have clothes. My mother used to help her very much.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And then, do you think that your youth during this period was a main factor that affected the way you perceive the circumstances around you? I mean, what I mean by this question is, do you think your age helped you survive the way that?
Because I was, you know what? Okay, I was 6 years old when started the ghetto. When I went out, we was in 43. We went out from the ghetto. Then I was already 10 years old. I was already a girl, and I was, you know, a little bit. I'm like my mother, strong. Now I'm 87, Dalia.
And you're very strong, Mania. I know that's why. Personally.
But you know, a lot I forgot already. Now I wanted to tell you. Okay, when I came to Israel, we went, all of us, with my brother, everybody. We came to Israel, but they took us to the Betolim. Betolim, you know what's Betolim? And
Betolim.
All the migrants, they used to send to the Betolim. You know, like it was like a
absorption center.
Tents, you know, put us in the tents and those, and there was
absorption center in Israel.
Exactly. But when they put us there in palatkes, how you call it, tents, they give us in tents to sleep, you know.
This
In
was
my
in
mother,
1949, Mania?
exactly.
Okay.
1949, we came from France with the ship. How you call it?
Yes. Yeah, from France.
They said, but it has a name. I forgot the name.
There were many ones.
Yeah.
There were-
Anyways, when we came, then my mother said, look, we went through a such a word. Now we're going to be in the tents to live. She was very upset. But I told her, but it's free. We have oranges in Israel. We have everything because, I was crazy. I was already 14 years old. I liked Israel. I was something. Then my mother had a cousin, but I went before the war to Israel. And she got a friend that was a mother for my husband. Listen to that.
Wow.
In Haifa. And she said, you know what? When the Arabs came, they used to run. They used to run away and they left the houses. And the houses was empty. But there was a lock on the door. Then my cousin said, Manya, Lola, this here, you can take this house. She said, how can I take Zukzi? Yeah, because some people, even the army, even the tzaddikas from the Israeli, they close it and later they're going to live there, My mother, but she was strong. She took away the lock. She went with a friend. His name was David. And took away the lock and came them and tzaddik, like the Israeli soldier, and said, how come you took away the lock? Out. That's yours? Then he said, yes. And he got a gun. The tzaddik got a gun. She came to him, and I was already, and she said, listen, the German didn't kill me. With this gun, I will kill you. He was scared, and he left, and he went out. And then we went to Haifa. Yeah,
Mania, I want to, we're almost done and time is running. So I have a question from one of the
now I want to go how I start with.
Did you ever get another piano?
Yes.
Tell us
yes.
about it.
Okay, then I tell quickly the story because we haven't got that.
Okay.
When I came to, then we went out, and it doesn't matter. I came to Canada because how I came to Canada, because I was in Argentina. That's what I speak. My mother had a big family. They left to Argentina before the war.
So it was Israel, then Argentina, and then Canada.
And then Canada. Yes. When we went to Argentina, I lived in Argentina, was beautiful. I got good, we got the whole family, maybe 50 people. My mother didn't know before the war. And I said to her, Ma, why you didn't went with these people? Why you stayed in Poland to have this war? She said, because we was very good. Daddy made a lots of money and it was everything nice. Who knew that they will come a Hitler and make like that? That's what she answered me.
Wow.
In the meantime, when I came to Canada, how I came to Canada, it started a little bit anti-Semitism in the school. I got my Naftali in Argentina. Okay, my Naftali was born in Israel, but I wanted to cry because he passed away 5 years ago. But
so sorry.
What can I do? I got Naftali, and then my Abi was born in Argentina, and I was scared. They was in school. They had started. Perejet, and we heard something from Perejet. In Argentina, they used to make Hakenkreuz, like in German. Then my husband said, you know what, Manya, let's go to Canada. Then I said, why Canada? Because I have a brother, and we can come. He will send us paper. Okay, he sent us the paper, and we came to Canada. When I came to Canada, the kids went to the school. And I was working by daters in a store because it was a Jewish daters in Eglinton. And then I was remembering, and I said, from the first money, I'm going to buy a piano.
Wow.
And but the piano is still baby in the house by my grandchildren, because Hitler didn't achieve. I got back the piano.
Got as your mom promised.
Yeah,
Your
my
mom
mom
gave
wasn't
you the
already here.
strength to get that piano as she promised you.
Yeah, and I bought it. Till now, the piano's here. But I want to tell you how I start with the march. You want to know how I start?
Yes. I wanted to ask to you.
And then I have Brigitte, my Brigitte. No, one day she said to me,
my granddaughter,
the Brigitte Hudy, and she said to me, Buba, why you don't want to tell your story?
This was approximately what year, Mania?
This was in 2009.
Okay, so before that, you didn't like to talk
about.
No,
I didn't want to talk. I didn't want to the kids. I didn't want to know nothing, because when I used to remember, I used to cry.
And so your granddaughter asked you to go to the March of the Living with her.
Now she said to me, Buba, come with me to the Lipa building. I said, why? Because I want you should tell them the story. She took me to the Lipa building and was sitting Ellie. I don't know if you know Ellie and Sharon.
Yes, of course.
Ellie was there. They was listening to me. I told him a little bit about the story. He said, you know what, Mania? You go with us to the March of the Living.
Wow.
And I said, Brigitte, I can talk. Buba, don't worry. I will hold you and you will talk. And this was the first time when I went to the March of the Living with the Canadian.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And then,
when
many years you went back. And when was it that you went back to that special spot?
That's why. When I went with the Canadian, I got to talk quick, and a few times, and the chaperones was very good. The tour guard was very good. There was the doctors, the rabbi. It was very good. But I was talking, and all my grandchildren met me. Was in the March of the Living. I took them, all of them, and Veronica too. She was last year, 2 years ago. Yeah. Okay, when I came, then I went through the cemetery, the Jewish cemetery in Warsaw, Ghetto.
Mm-hmm.
When I came to talk, and I said, I remember it was a hall here. And when we went through to this hall, David, the tour guide, went with me. We was looking, we couldn't find it. Then I said to myself, maybe I invented. Maybe it wasn't true. Maybe, I don't know. But I know it was a hole here. Then I was talking, and then came the Panamanian, heard me talk. And I heard Spanish. Then I start to talk to them in Spanish. How are you? We would like, you should tell us a little bit the story. The children from Panama. I said, okay, I talked to them and everything. And there was the tour guide, Menashe. And I told Menashe is supposed to be here something, but a hole was, I remember. We used to go, we used to look around, and he find the hole. And from this time, they make the Mogul David because of me.
Yes,
you remember, and I showed them how I went through this. Okay,
so first it was only like a regular.
Yeah, regular, like, like outside in the,
Because of your visit.
Exactly.
Then as a memorial in the Warsaw Ghetto, there is now a Magen David that represents
exactly. You remember. That's why.
And the whole of so many children like you, Mania, that saved not only your life, but you saved so many people's lives inside the ghetto because you smuggled.
Yeah, I smuggled. Yeah, that's true.
And you saved others people's life like that.
Yeah, and I take in the second time I took Brookie. On the march, I took everybody, and then Brookie held me too. But always when I wanted to talk, I used to cry. But I promise, when my children grandchildren lives in Panama. I promised that because you haven't got a survivor. And I said I'm going with the Panamanian too.
So I think that March of the Living, Mania, gave a lot, not only to you, but to so many people that went to you, that experienced with you.
Yeah, not because I forgot
time
already.
You went to the march, you went with your daughter-in-law, Dora, who wrote a book about you.
That's why she wrote this. Here is the book.
Yes, show us the book.
And there is pictures. And because of Dora, you know what? I remember a little bit because she told me because she was talking to my mother and I didn't know about it.
Wow.
And my mother told her more what I know.
It's amazing that there's a book
and
about
something. I want this book should be translated in English because
very soon, God willing. Show us the cover so that everybody can see.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Dora, thank to Dora, she wrote this book and she's famous now. And she's
definitely famous in Panama. That book is read in all of our Jewish schools, and we incorporate that book for lessons of the Shoah in our Jewish schools to prepare them to go to the March of the Living. And we were supposed to go to the March of the Living with you, and unfortunately it didn't happen. But all of our kids got to read that book and they learned so much about it.
But I just want to tell you, all of you chaperones, you was very good. And just I want to tell you of this little girl, I live a generation, they want to kill me, but they didn't achieve. I live 6 grandchildren and 8 great-grandchildren. That's a generation, but they never forget.
And that is how you won that war, Mania.
And I just tell you guys, don't forget that now we have to help us, Israel. We have somebody. Before, nobody can help us. Now we have Israel. And don't forget, children, go. Even now we have a corona, but God willing, it's going to be the March of the Living. Don't sedate it. Go to March of the Living and you will learn and you will see what it was. It was a true story because they said today it's not true, but it's true. You have a survivor, but went through.
That is very true. This is an amazing message to everyone that is here. And I want to apologize because I know that there are so many questions. And unfortunately,
Mama, no problem.
But we don't have time. We only have 2 more minutes.
But I want to tell you, I know one thing. When I went to the ghetto.
And thank yous and people that are applauding you and people that are.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you guys. You something. You all of them, all the chaperones from Panama and from Canada. They're all working very hard, and I thank them very much what they did and what they're doing for the children when they're going in March. They saw it with their eyes.
Yes. The message that you shared with us today for our young generation is it's a strong one, Mania, and I thank you for that. And everybody thanks you.
Yeah, and I thank you guys because you was very good. And my niece, she, her father was born in Bergen-Belsen. This is her father.
So
unfortunately, we lost them.
Next to Mania. So Veronica, tell us a little bit.
Yeah, she's a teacher. Tell her.
This is my very special Aunt Mania. I'm special in Panama, special in Canada, special all over the world.
Exactly.
We bring her here also.
Virtually.
I was in the school.
I'm a teacher in a Jewish school, and she comes to speak every year. Well, not this year because it's Corona, but she speaks every year for my students. And my father was the baby born in the DP camp. He's also no longer alive. Mania has actually outlived all her younger siblings.
Yeah, I'm the only one.
So she's our link to the
younger
past.
Siblings.
Yes.
But the worst is for me when I lost my son Naftali. When he be here, he be
so proud of me. He was something. Every night I'm telling you, I don't know how I'm alive, but I'm strong because of my children. What can I say? I don't know. Every day I have it in all of them, my brother, my boy, everybody. I'm the oldest, and I'm alive. Maybe I'm alive to tell this story for you guys.
It is true. It is true. And you know, your son's
Naftali,
anyway,
AB.
you said it, Mania. Thank you. Thank you for sharing this story. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for being such an inspiration to everybody that hears your story, to everybody that knows you. And now with this pandemic, which no one called for and nobody wants, but we do have to appreciate this special opportunity that it has given us to be part of this virtual community. And thanks, March of the Living, for making this event happen and for inviting Mania to tell her amazing story with these.
Thank you guys. And I kiss all of them there. Kiss me, all of them in Panama.
Thank you for inviting me, and thank you. Everybody in the chat is saying thank you. We love you.
I'm gonna read it to you after.
Wonderful story, and you have many, many messages of gratefulness. Thank you, Mania.
Okay, thank you.